Hello guys, it's Chris here and welcome to the pinnacle of evolution of the beautiful game, which is just how you describe it if you watched every minute of our games and were clinically blind. Now we've got pretty much 5 years back in this series now, you know. The last video I did was a season pretty much 5 years ago, and I'll get back to the ones before that eventually, but I thought it was about time we updated it. I didn't really play much of last season because I had a groin injury pretty much the whole of it, don't ask. Now, I've been quietly playing Sunday League games for like the first half of this season, and I feel like, because it's a current season, I could split it up into a few different parts, more than anything to prove that I am actually the same height as some of the people on the pitch these days. Even though the actual standard of football would make the shortest highlights reel in match of the day history, I feel like there's still enough that happens in each game. Mostly good. So, first game of the season, it was pre-season actually, starting off in full tradition. Didn't have a keeper, subbed in the other team's reserve. Also, I say pre-season like there's the same difference in on-season and off-season as there is in professional football, which obviously there isn't, as it's not like anyone's been missing out on their usual training regime, as it doesn't exist. Nowadays, I play much more as like a classic centre mid than I used to, with the height difference not really being a factor anymore. You'll notice this is pretty much the first season when I haven't been sporting the tucked-in parachute that all kids under, 6 foot will be very much familiar with in junior football. Thought I'd test out the waters and see if this is the year that I start scoring 40-yarders. Surprisingly, I'm still waiting on that one. Followed by giving the ball away, and despite work rate Alexis Sanchez would have been proud of, they scored. Partly my fault. Mainly my fault. They got nutmegs. Told you we didn't have a lack of content this season. Little bit gutted I didn't get on the score sheet here, but mid-swing kind of decided that pre-season goals, they just don't really count, do they? It's not quite the same kind of level. So I thought I'd ricochet it off the post instead and, try and set up someone who might need the moral boost, but you can't win them all. Should probably mention at some stage that my dad plays in the same team as me. I'm sure his video appearance isn't too far away now. Probably to make up for showing him get absolutely flattened here. Totally worth it. And then conceded our first classic of the year. See, when kind of things like this happen, part of me's distraught and wants to sit down and cry about what's happened. There's another part like, yes, nice one for the video. Was this the fault of the surface? I'll let you guys decide that one. Now, on to our first, league proper game of the season. The first one that counts. There is just so much to appreciate in this one clip. If you were going to pick a goal to sum up the whole of English Sunday League football, I'd say this one's the closest we've come to. Right up to, again, it's the exact same Upson and Terry defending against Miroslav Klose that we saw for England in the World Cup. Like, it starts from the bottom. Again, captures the English game quite well. Shouts of time, ignored straight up the pitch. Before you realise that that's actually more beneficial than trying to play tiki-taka at this level. It's probably going to be the wrong option for more reasons than I care to sit here for and explain. What I do like about playing centre mid is that it's a lot easier to take people on. You kind of notice that after playing quite far up the pitch when you come back. Like, strikers obviously try a lot harder to dive in and get the ball off you than defenders who will happily back off because it's much more of an issue if they dive in and just miss the ball. So it's easier, but when you do lose the ball, there's slightly more issues, and you have a hard time trying to shout at someone else and get away with it when you've lost the ball, and they do in fact score. Luckily, our centre-back did this a minute later, which was much appreciated. And it's a decent finish too, I suppose. Now, there's one thing this video is missing so far. A home ground to rival the new camp, or the Aliens, or maybe more realistically, the one that would exist if they ever tried to put one on the Dead Marshes in Lord of the Rings. But the point is, this was our first match with the home crowd advantage at the Fortress. Now, occasionally you do get a moment of absolute genius in these games, so this one's worth throwing in. An absolutely ridiculous reaction save from their keeper. I genuinely have no idea how he saved that. Cancelled out by going straight back to the other end of the spectrum of proof that however valid a goal is, you can have it disallowed by claiming for anything, really, as long as there's enough of you with your arms up looking bewildered. I've probably had the most take-ons, per game than I have in a season before, I think, just because it's so much easier when you're on the same height as people. Also, I guess, because I play centre mid as well, but it's just so much more enjoyable. You can just suddenly run past people. What I would love to see is my expected goals for the season. If some of you know, if you don't, I'll leave the links in the description, because it's really interesting in terms of football analytics, slightly off topic. I feel like I've been unlucky and a little bit rubbish at times in front of goal this season, but it's kind of hard to tell, so I would like to see that. I mean, it is a good competition. But finally, the first time I've been involved in a goal. I'm not really saying the scores in these games as well, which, it's not really relevant. Anyway, free ball for me, and, brilliant finish, brilliant defending, and a brilliant shin into the bottom corner, all on par. As I've said before, and as you guys will know, later into any games at this sort of level, it eventually turns into that point when The defense just decides they're not going to push up. The attackers decide they're not going to come back. So you want to up your game in the last 20 minutes because a lot tends to happen. Now, if this is Mesut Ozil, who does his back heel assist, and it goes in, I'd be referencing it in every video from now to the end of time. So that's all I'm saying. But last 20, you really need to push it if you want to get on the score sheet. It's prime time to grab a goal. And, you know, for the result doesn't really matter as well because it's already decided at this point. Side note, just my opinion, but if you bring out the bright orange boots, you need to be pulling out, you know, at least one step over per game. So, second half of the season, Harry, sort out, mate. Like, there's really just no defensive line at this point, but, still, I was trying to get my first assist of the season. Still not happening there, though. Keeper up for the corner. You know how it is. I feel like even if time is up, if the result's already decided, it should be an unwritten rule to let the forward have a go from the halfway line, because genuinely everyone wants to see that. You know, I would happily concede another goal if it's a Xabi Alonso from the halfway line. With no keeper, though. Now, moving into the first match I've ever played in which you genuinely couldn't work out where the sideline was. There was so many leaves that it was kind of like running through water if you were caught unawares and wandered too far towards one corner of the pitch. Like I said, I could actually take people off the pace this season, which is quite nice. It's quite fun when you work that. It's like, oh, this is how other people play football. There's been a few of these in my videos. I always love a good run and then an agonizingly close finish that means it all counts for nothing. In hindsight, I should have chipped it Messi versus Neuer style, you know, a little left foot dink over the keeper, or alternatively just put it anywhere but at the keeper. You know, that probably would have done. I probably completed the most take-ons in this game than I think I've ever had done before. Like, it was just one of those games where you're just a little bit quicker than the other midfield, so it's so enjoyable. But again, I would love to see our expected goals, like, as a team, because I feel like we have been unlucky at times. Again, like, that could have gone anywhere. Forget I said that. Now, as you could probably imagine, you get quite a lot of foul throws in our league. Some worse than others. But it doesn't matter how legal you make them if there's a tree in the way. I think that's close to being the best clip that's come out of all of these videos so far. Good thing about being a centre mid is, like, you know, low centre of gravity makes me quite difficult to push over it at times. This game genuinely had it all. Like, shooting from the centre, a fight, interestingly timed tackles, losing the only match ball because it went out of bounds, and presumably someone's dog defecating on and around the playing surface. It was good value for money. Also, I really wasn't joking about the leaves. I wonder if there's ever been a game called off for that. Something tells me possibly not. And let's just try to hold off the dubstep for a moment here. An actual step over comes out. And yes, we will be replaying that one. And obviously it's met by the only thing a step over in Sunday League football should ever be met by. That is a flattening. And free kicks in this area are generally like our best chance of scoring. I mean, that is corridor of uncertainty. The idea is to put it into that area where the keeper won't really have enough time to collect it, do you know what I mean? So as long as there's bodies flying all over the place, there's a chance it'll drop. Someone's limb will hit it and it'll probably go into the goal. This team had like a really strong midfield in this game, so it's like the first half that you hardly get any time, and I seem to just keep losing the ball. Generally not in quite a dangerous situation as this one. I'd simply had to win the ball back here, and happy we've got that one on camera as one of my better sliding tackles. But perfect example of the last 20 rule, you know, I was talking about before. Second half already, got the ball on the edge of the box, bit of Santi Cazorla-esque footwork. Unfortunately, the comparison stopped there with that 5-star weak foot, and so yeah, very much getting my eye in at this stage of the season. Edge of the box, okay, both of them. You just get those games sometimes where you just can't get a break, like the ball just won't go in the goal. I'd play us in here again. Like, anywhere else that goes. I mean, you can put it down to luck sometimes, but when you're controlling a football like that, yeah, I'll probably be needing a lawyer for that argument. But that game was another one where the scoreline, you know, wasn't really relevant. It was decided by the end of the game, let's just say that. I should really just be narrating these games as everyone's a 0-0 draw or a narrow 1-0 win to us. I've really got to do a little bit more planning for the next video. So I feel like that's enough footage for today. The next one will feature another bunch of games. I can show you a little clip actually from the last one. Basically, again, the scoreline was quite irrelevant, or would have been if they hadn't scored 9. And some of you had the willpower to stick around through all that until the end of the game, so I was impressed with that. But you'll see more of that one in the next episode. So, ending these first batch of games for this season on 0 goals and 0 assists. So if you have enjoyed this, you know, more recent video, even though I'm splitting them up in so it's not just one season, please make sure to leave a like on the video and be sure to subscribe if you're new around here. And if you are enjoying the series, now seems like not a bad time to pick up one of these t-shirts or the mug. or the phone case. I'm just spitballing here. Link to the shop, of course, in the description below. And be sure to send me pictures on Twitter if you decide to. If you haven't seen the last one, make sure to go check that one out. It was about 5 years ago in terms of that season, as I said at the start of the video. But it's kind of interesting to see, like, how things have changed. But anyway, if you have any suggestions or anything for this series, make sure to leave them in the comments below, because it's always interesting to see what you think of it. Make sure to follow all my social media links. They're just down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you later.